Hopefully that'll come off of there in a sec. There we go. Ask me later, which means in 30 seconds. There we go. So in that situation, then the separate part of your bid is your cost proposal that says what your total dollar amount is, and then we use a multiplier from the evaluation committee on the quality points, multiply that into your total cost, and then rank the bidders. So if you're not familiar with design build, now you are. JOC, or job order contract. There's a lot of minor capital projects on campus, meaning projects under $400,000 that need to be done. And it could be something as simple as signage or sealing a road or building out classroom space, but each discrete project being under $400,000. That, number one, it meets that requirement. It's a minor cap project. And number two, that our in-house workforce elects not to specifically perform because our in-house shop has first rights on that. And so if those two things occur, then we can do the work as a JOC. JOC contracts are bid as a multiplier. There's a price book, and it's a hefty price book, but it comes out on CD. And what you do is you bid a multiplier on that. Before the economic meltdown, we were seeing the multipliers bid out at 1.1 to 1.3 of the price book. So if they said, I'll put in a cover plate for a light switch for $1 in the price book, then the job contractor would really do it for $1.10 or $1.30, whatever the multiplier is. Now we're seeing JOC come in between, on other campuses, 0.7, so 70% of the published rate. On our campus, we tend to see it closer to the 80 to 97% range. So again, it gives you a feel of the market out there. Job order contract, you're bidding a multiplier, but again, the cheapest multiplier, it's a competitively bid situation. You're awarded the job contract. The only thing that we currently guarantee you on our job contract is $50,000 worth of work over the one-year term. Maximum value on most of our JOCs is $3 million, so it could be as much as $3 million. The term is limited to 1 year from the notice to proceed. For professional services, I just want to touch upon this because if any of you are consulting engineers, geotech, something like that, you might be interested in this. We have something called a task order service agreement, a TOSA, and it allows us to get supporting services either on minor cap, including architecture on minor cap, and then on major cap, just supporting services, not full design services. And it allows us to use somebody piecemeal from time to time. You're guaranteed, if you're selected under this RFQ selection process, which you're not bidding a price, you're providing rates, but also skills, resumes, qualifications, experience. You're guaranteed exactly $0 worth of work. And then if we select to use you, and we may select multiple TOSA entities, then you get work piecemeal from time to time. On major cap projects, you may see us go out for bid on a major cap, looking for somebody to be geotech and special inspections on the meat processing center or on the recreation center. So it's a specific project, and it would be limited to that. And those are professional services. Okay, tell me about projects. How do I find out about projects at Cal Poly? I want to do work there. I'm going to talk about not just if you're a prime, how you can find work, but more importantly, I think maybe a lot of you have interest in being a sub or a vendor to a prime, and so I'll talk about some ways you can get leads on that. We do not maintain a list of seekers or interested persons, and all the time we get solicitations. Please notify me anytime you're doing a construction project that involves blank. We don't do that, because it's very difficult to sometimes categorize who's interested in what, and more importantly, what if we do notify you by email and then you say, well, I never got the email, I changed my email address. So we've created a very easy system for you to learn about projects, and that's number 2, which is this web link that you can write down, or if you don't have a pen handy, I'd be happy, I'll give you my email address at the end, I'd be happy to forward the link to you. It's www.afd.calpoly.edu/facilities. And I'll show you what the site looks like in a moment. But then you click on capital projects, and then you can select RFPs and RFQs, which would be requests for proposals or requests for qualifications, and you typically see professional services or design build. And then if you want to see design bid build, you would click on projects currently bidding. And so let's take a look. Here's what the page looks like. You see when you get there, and some of the graphics I took off of this, but you'll see when you get to the page, capital projects. And when you click on capital projects, you'll get project map, project news, RFQs and RFPs, and projects currently bidding. And this is where you want to look. If you're interested in doing work on the campus, you want to check that once a week. Log in on Monday morning or whenever is convenient for you and check it once a week to see what projects are going on. We also advertise, and Ann's going to talk about very similar to Caltrans, we advertise in the CSCR and in the Green Sheet and Daily Pacific Builder, sometimes in the Tribune, depending upon the project. But this website is the way to get real-time information, because when the ads are being placed, the first place they get posted is here, so you're on top of things. When you go there, and let's take a look, let's say for a second you go to, back up here, you click on projects currently bidding, and if you did that today, here's what you would see. It's the only one currently bidding. Sometimes there's multiple ones. Meat Processing Center, and you see our project code for it. A couple of things crop up. Notice to contractors, invitation to bid. This just gives you a rough outline of what the project's about, the project budget, and some of the other requirements. Plan holders list. Talk about that in a second. If you are a sub or somebody who renders service and material, then this is a great resource for you. And what that is anybody who requests our CD, and what you have to do to request our CD is fax us the information, your address, etc., which I'll show you in the notice to contractors. On the plan holders list, now you know who the potential primes are that are holding the CD to bid on the project. And then once they get pre-qualified by the CSU, which there's a pre-qualification requirement I'll speak about, you'll see a check mark on there that they're pre-qualified. They could bid on the project if they want to. Once they request the bid documents, then you know that they probably intend to bid on the project. Yes, sir?
If a contractor intends to be a subcontractor or wants to be a subcontractor on the project, can he order a CD as well?
Absolutely, yeah, and those are free of charge. And you'll probably see a lot of subs and material men, and obviously the plan room is holding copies of it, the Builders Exchange as well. And then on this project, we had a non-mandatory pre-bid conference yesterday, big turnout, but we post the sign-in sheets, whether it's mandatory or non-mandatory. May give you a better idea of who's showing up, who the competition is. Obviously, you can't collude with them unless you want to spend time in San Quentin. This is what the notice, if you go back to this page a second here, if you click on the notice to contractors invitation to bid, this is what will come up. It's usually 2 pages long. I only did this excerpt of it. You see the bids are due before 2 p.m. Thursday, April 1st. This is going to be changed to March 30th. The reason is we had issues with CSU, the Chancellor's Office on pre-qual, because March 31st is a state holiday, so we pushed it back to March 30th on the bid. Meat Processing Center, here's what the work consists of, a 14,400 square foot single-story prefab building that will house animal harvest operations, fabrication, processing, ready to eat, dry storage, USDA office, shower, restrooms, tech office, a sales office. It's actually going to have a sales room for the CalPoly meets. Tells you here who the architect is, Delphi Garrity's. Gives you the contact information for the architect, tells you the construction budget, tells you how to obtain the plans and specs, and I'll tell you, since it's cut off here, what you have to do to obtain the plans and specs. You don't make a phone call, you don't send an email, we like a fax, because faxes are much more reliable, we find, than emails. They don't get kicked out by spam filters. So you fax us something saying, give me a copy of the CD on this, and we send it off to you right away. And the information, the